a big house with extra rooms? We are looking for volunteers. Will you join the list?
So, we do have a very affluent community, a lot of big homes, and what I'd like to do is direct staff to create a sign-up sheet. So, for individuals that would be willing to house migrant families.
You are of a critical thinking mind. Doesn't this all look just a little weird? They got all these photo ops and we're just supposed to believe them that this is the actual North Pole. So we know that all compasses point to the north. We know that there is a magnetic north. And so we're supposed to believe that all the compasses are pointing to this little flag that they have there.
I have a theory that the Mandela effect is used to see how much of history can be altered in front of our eyes.
Woman right there, convicted of stabbing her boyfriend to death, only gets a slap on the wrist. She faced the possibility of life in prison for stabbing him 108 times. But the judge ruling that she had no self-control while in a cannabis-induced psychosis.
Agape is different. Agape is, you're my enemy. You've cut me off at the knees. You've gossiped about me. You've slandered about me. But I'm going to choose to forgive you. I'm going to choose to be committed to your well-being. That is the quality of love that God has for you and for me. That's what the cross of Christ is all about. Where Christ sacrifices his life for his enemies.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Highly Motivated. I have so many awesome videos to share with you today, so get comfortable and let's get into it. We only truly find peace inside when we learn to relinquish the control of our lives to Jesus. When I'm in control, when Renee does what she wants, bad things happen. I want Christ as my mind.
A ditch digger once said, I dig ditches to earn money. I earn money to buy food. I buy food to eat it to gain more strength to dig more ditches. I dig ditches to earn money. I earn money to buy food. I buy food to eat it to gain more strength to dig more ditches. And that's all life is, a stupid, meaningless cycle. Don't get trapped in that cycle, Jesus says. Instead, hold on to the purpose, the meaning of life that God gave you. Hold on to the significance that you have. For you are created in the image, in the likeness of God. Which means you've got a rational mind, you've got a conscience, you've got the ability to love, you've got the ability to work, to have a career, to provide a good product, to provide a good service, to better people's lives. Use that faithfully. Realize the purpose for which God made you. And success comes from accepting God's goal for our lives. And by his grace, becoming what he created us to be. Now that's hard for me as a human being. I like to be in control. I can handle this, thank you, is what I've learned since I was a little child. And yes, there obviously is a place for learning to handle life. But if I become totally deluded, I will begin to think that I'm the one who ultimately handles everything. What a fantasy. I don't even determine the day of my own death. I don't determine what happens after death. I don't determine whether life has an intrinsic value or not. That's God. And I don't determine what's absolutely right and absolutely wrong. That flows from a moral lawmaker, God.
Whether you like it or not, we were created to worship. So if you do not have God as your head and you are not worshiping God, you are putting something else in that position, whether it be love or money. And if you think about it, if you put money as your head with all those demonic sigils on our bills, who do you think you're actually worshiping by default? Not God. The This gentleman's view on Mandela effects mirrors how I feel about them, and I want to know if you agree too.
I have a theory that the Mandela effect is used to see how much of history can be altered in front of our eyes. Here's a prime example of one of that. There's this woman on TikTok who was going crazy because she swore the Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia logo. And to the point that even Fruit of the Loom themselves put a timeline of all their logos and it never had a cornucopia. And this woman went hard. Her therapist told her, yo, you need to chill out. You need to just drop this. So she went through all of her old clothing, and lo and behold, she found a shirt with the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia logo on it. That shows me, like, yo, I think the Mandela effect is an operation that's running around right now to see how much of history can be altered right in front of our eyes without us noticing. And then they gaslight the public and be like, nope, this never happened.
Damn, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, bro. People are thinking about it very little, like, oh, it's the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears or Jiffy or Jif's peanut butter. No, it's much larger than that, guys.
Yes.
They're using this to see, oh, if we can get people to forget certain primary things about their childhood, what can we do with history? I have a...
Exactly. First step, make it so everyone gets all of their information from one place, the internet. Second step, slowly start changing small details to see if anybody actually notices. Third step, create an entire psyop around it and name it something so people think it's a theory and not really happening. And it's not actually them behind it. This is an extremely great video that breaks down how the laws of nature work on a flat earth model.
Now, you will see how the phenomenon of nature attests that on a flat earth, the laws of science work perfectly. Let's start with magnetic charge of electrons generated by our Earth by means of two magnetic pole lines, plus and minus. The shape of the flat Earth is in the form of a round magnet with a hole in the middle, that is, it has plus and minus in the edges in the area of the Antarctic ice wall. And in the center is a compression of plus and minus electrons, which influences the movement of water and air. Although water and air are not magnetic and are dielectric, the magnetic field can have an effect on them because water and air contain positively and negatively charged particles that can move in the presence of a magnetic field. If water and air are dielectric, that is, they are electrical insulators, but can be polarized by an electric field. So water and air molecules are dipoles, that is, they are negatively charged at oxygen atoms and a positive charge at hydrogen atoms. In the presence of a magnetic field, the hydrogen side is oriented towards the negative side being positive, and the oxygen being negatively charged will be attracted to the positive side of the magnetic field. Thus, circulating water and air. In addition to the fact that it is known that in the chapter of wind, warm air rises to the surface and cold air is below, and even tornadoes can be formed by the movement of currents in the opposite direction. This is a small example, a vessel full of water that is subject to a magnetic field under it and setting the static field in the magnets in motion through those two plus and minus terminals, and with an iron filing on the surface of the water.
If magnetic north is because of a large magnetic rock that is called Rupus nigra, then that means the idea of the magnetic poles switching is also just another psyop. Since we're on the topic, we're going to learn a little bit more about the North Pole.
The North Pole is another thing that is surrounded in a lot of mystery, and if you look at maps today, you'll see that there's nothing there. It's just a wasteland, and that no one would ever want to go there, obviously, because it's...
And let me just pause it to say this. NASA has supposed satellite footage, and it will flow over the North Pole. but it stops filming. The camera lens will actually close and then reopen after it's past the North Pole. So there's obviously something there that they don't want us to see.
It's way too cold. It's just ice. But you get pictures of these people who supposedly are at the North Pole, and they literally have a little flag right there in the ground, and we're supposed to believe that that is the North Pole.
Yeah.
Now, if you are of a critical thinking mind, doesn't this all look just a little weird? You know, they got all these photo ops, and we're just supposed to believe them that this is the actual North Pole. So we know that all compasses point to the north. We know that there is a magnetic north. And so we're supposed to believe that all the compasses are pointing to this little flag that they have there. And you could get into the magnetic north and true north. I don't care about all that. Either way, there's nothing there according to what we're fed today. But what if there is something there?
I just don't know what this is.
It's a map. My father showed me a map like this once. Inside the circle is your world and my world. Many others. No one knows how many. The Dark Tower stands at the center of all things. And it stood there from the beginning of time. And it sends out powerful energy.
There's an old map called the Mercator map, and you can see in this map that there is a big mountain right in the center. This mountain is said to be called Rupes Negro, which means black rock, and it's at the center.
Right there, the fact that it means black rock, like, come on, it's not an accident.
Of all things, it's at the center of the world, which would be the North Pole, and it's a magnetic mountain.
Right, which is most likely the leftover trunk of a giant tree.
Complete sense as to why all the compasses are drawn to the north. What's interesting as well is on this old Mercator map, there are 4 islands around this rock, this North Pole. In today's maps, all those have been completely erased, and there's also 4 rivers flowing out. And in the midst of these 4 islands and 4 rivers was said to be a whirlpool, and that water rushes round about and descends into the earth, just as if one was pouring it through a filter funnel. And this would also explain why we have tides. In the book of Genesis, it talks about 4 rivers running out from the Garden of Eden. And in Genesis, the first river is called Pison. The second river is called Gihon. The third river is Hiddekel. And the fourth is the river Euphrates. Could it be that these geographical locations aren't really where we think that they are? It's very much possible. Would it make sense that Eden was at the center of the earth? And when Adam and Eve were kicked out of Eden, the Lord placed cherubims and flaming swords to guard it. And the Bible also says that Mount Zion is on the sides of the north, and that's the city of the great king. What they are telling us is the North Pole. I don't believe for a second the North.
If you think about it, all we have to go off to know what land is out there are the maps that are given to us. And this brings me back to faith, because there are a lot of people who put faith in things every day that think it's ridiculous to put faith in God. You're going to put faith in a bunch of maps that were put out by man, but not have faith that we have a creator when you can see everything he created in front of you every day, all day? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. And do you believe that that could possibly be Eden right there? And sure, you can say, yeah, people can travel places. That's how you know that the map is accurate. But how many people have actually truly visited every place on the map? I doubt many.
Who defines success? According to Christ, success is discovering God's purposes for you and fulfilling them. God created you for a purpose, and that purpose is to love God with your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Why do you work? I hope there's more to your work than simply making money. It's good to make money. It's good to make as much money as you can. But hopefully there's more to your work than simply making money. Hopefully you're providing a product or a service to help people better their lives. For you and I were put on this earth by God for a purpose, and success is understanding that purpose and living it out.
Amen.
Also, Christ describes success as being able to hear from Him one day, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That is success. Taking your life and being faithful in using all of your talents, all of your power, all of your skills, all of your abilities, all of your time to serve Christ by serving people, to love God and to love people. And then when Christ returns one day in power and great glory, when there's a day of judgment, He promised that He will look into the faces of those who've trusted in Him and therefore lived faithful lives and say to them, "Well done, good and faithful servant."
Amen. And that's exactly why He took sin out of the way, so that instead of worrying about the law, we could focus on our relationship with Jesus and how to better fulfill what He put us here for. Now, I wanted to touch on this fog that has been mercilessly covering our entire country for at least where I live. I haven't seen sun in probably 2 months. Now, I don't know what it looks like throughout the rest of the world, but I want to know, is it foggy where you live? And do me a favor and take a moment to look up that patent number.
This is how your own mind is denying yourself happiness in small doses subconsciously each and every day. By holding on to past trauma, we deny ourselves healing. By feeling self-conscious, we deny our own self-worth. By finding fault in other people's actions, we deny ourselves compassion. By feeling hopeless, we deny ourselves faith. By collecting excuses, we deny ourselves our own power. By clinging to our losses, we miss out on the miracles happening now. By feeling skeptical and stressed, worried, paranoid, or anxious, we deny ourselves contentment and trust. Yes. By feeling envious of others, we deny ourselves abundance. By waiting for the weekend to come, we deny ourselves presence and gratitude. By becoming offended and defensive, we deny ourselves peace. By holding a grudge, seeking revenge, or gossiping about other people, we deny ourselves security. By seeking attention and validation, we deny ourselves completeness. By operating on autopilot, we deny ourselves inspiration. By reacting to situations unconsciously, we deny ourselves discernment. By closing our hearts, we deny ourselves love. This
just points to the amount of control we have over how we feel. Initially, how something makes you feel, you don't have a lot of control over. However, you have control over whether you harp on it, never let it go, whether you let it offend you, whether you let it make you act out of character. And I've said before that you can change a lot about the way the people around you treat you by how you react to the way they treat you. But what she said about the anxiety and the feeling self-conscious, those were definitely things that I had to deal with myself. Apparently, they are looking for volunteers to take migrants into their homes. Now, my first answer is you first. You invited them. My second answer is I would put up a homeless family, a homeless American family, before I would put up a family that is from another country. And that's not to say I don't think that they're not both human, but I never once saw our government going this hard for our own people. So
have a big house with extra rooms. We are looking for volunteers. Will you join the list?
So, we do have a very affluent community, a lot of big homes. And what I'd like to do is direct staff to create a sign-up sheet. So, for individuals that would be willing to house migrant families.
Again, did they ever once say something like this for America's homeless? Ever?
Are you serious, man? There's millions of American homeless people on the streets right now. If we're going to volunteer to open up our houses for people, I think we need to take care of the Americans first. Let me ask you something, man. How many people have signed up on that list that you're talking about?
But no, it's interesting. I don't think we've had a single person that said, hey, where's the sign-up sheet? Where can I sign up?
You know why, man? Because if we let those people in our houses, we're inviting trouble in our houses.
Exactly.
We have to take care of our families, and we have to make sure they're secure.
Yes, because think about it. They spend more than 1 night, 2 nights into your house. Now, if they know you will have to evict them. If they don't want to leave, you could very well lose your own house just because you let somebody else live there for a night.
So we can't just let anybody in our houses, man. That's why we're not signing up on that sign-up list.
Exactly. Are you willing to even take a chance at losing your own home? I don't know. I couldn't do it. There's not enough protections in place for us for me to feel comfortable doing something like that.
The Bible verse is that seek me first and then the rest shall follow. I always talk about this because it's like, what does that mean? And it's so vague, and I think it needs to be vague because it's so many different human beings. Okay, I search for God first and everything follows. Well, what's everything? Oh, I didn't know who I am. Now I know who I am. I didn't know what my purpose is. Now I know who my purpose is. I wasn't happy. Now I'm happy. Everything that you would ever need is going to be provided to you if you just come to me. Come to me and I'll give it to you. But, well, how do you want me to come to you? When do you want me to come to you? Should I come now or late? Should I finish this up and then come to you? And we're always looking at what we got going on. Thank you. And it's hard. Like, for the swearing thing for me, like that to me was like, I was such an egomaniac. I go from being so humble to such an ego, right? I'll be like, look at these Christians teaching me how to talk. Well, God didn't give you that platform. So obviously, like, why are you talking to me about this? And then later on that night, I read my Bible and God's like, hey, you ever say that again, even in your darkest parts of your heart, I will hang you to dry in front of the whole entire world. Humble.
Listen, I used to throw out the JC and the OMG, and I didn't think twice about it. I would throw out F-bombs, and I'm not going to say that I'm 100% perfect when it comes to swearing, but I cannot take the Lord's name in vain anymore. I literally cannot. I feel immediately convicted. And I didn't say, let me change those things and then go to God. I went to God, and then all of a sudden how I feel about things started to change, and I became a new person. Like, God did that. I didn't do it. A human smuggling prank on Border Patrol.
Mind stepping out of the vehicle? Do you have any weapons inside the vehicle?
No, no, sir. There's
no
like,
weapons?
there's like a, I don't know what they're
yes
called.
Or no?
Yes, no, sir.
It's a
no, sir.
No.
There's no weapons in the vehicle.
Come right out. trunk. Check the trunk. Check the trunk.
Huh?
Get over there.
Check the trunk?
Get over there.
Don't check the trunk. Please don't check the trunk.
What do you got in the trunk?
Huh?
You got somebody in the back?
Dígame contigo. Speak Spanish or English? It's a prank. It's a prank. It's a prank. It's a prank. Look, there's a camera. Look, it's a prank. It's a prank.
Don't move, buddy.
It's just a prank. Look, there's a GoPro right there.
I don't care. I didn't know.
Tony.
All right, it's a stupid prank, but they did it wrong. You're just supposed to like walk over now. I'm not sure if any of you have heard this particular news story. Recently, a California woman stabbed her boyfriend 108 times. Okay. Wait till you hear how she got off. This is ridiculous.
Woman right there, convicted of stabbing her boyfriend to death, only gets a slap on the wrist. She faced the possibility of life in prison for stabbing him 108 times.
108.
But the judge ruling that she had no self-control while in a cannabis-induced psychosis. Todd?
Did you hear that? No self-control because she was in a cannabis-induced psychosis. Can you say bull? You know what?
Pyro is live in the studio with the shocking details. Todd.
This is a head scratcher, Ainsley. The judge is sentencing 32-year-old Bryn Speecher to 100 hours of community service, 2 years probation, and the big one, no jail time. She
got almost the same sentence I got for a trespassing charge. For stabbing somebody 108 times. That judge needs to be fired because you and I both know that that does not happen. That cannabis-induced psychosis, that's not real.
Down in tears after a jury convicted her of involuntary manslaughter last month. California judge claims she had no control over her actions after stabbing the victim, Chad O'Meala, 108 times. Psychiatrists in the case claim the incident was, quote, 100% caused by cannabis-induced psychosis after the 32-year-old took 2 hits from the victim's bong. She expressed remorse during closing statements, saying, quote, I wish I had known more about the dangers of marijuana.
Wow. Okay, so I want to know, what is the goal of this article? Why are they putting this out now? Is this a real situation? Because I'm sorry, that just does not happen.
I would never have smoked it that night or at all. O'Malley's family.
Oh, also, think about the can of worms this is going to open up. If now we have case law that this was used as a defense for unaliving somebody. Like, this is not the precedent that you really would like to set.
Shocked and angry over the sentencing yesterday. The victim's father accusing the judge of being biased, saying, quote, he just gave everyone in the state of California who smokes marijuana a license to kill someone.
Exactly.
The woman and the victim were dating for only a few weeks before his death in 2018. Police arrived on scene to find Speecher in a pool of blood near the victim's body. She also attempted to stab herself in the neck before being taken away.
Woman right.
Well, let me know how you guys feel about this story. Do you agree with me that it's complete BS, or do you have different thoughts? Either way, I want to know. Makeup has gone from being something used to accentuate your natural features to women wearing a full-out stage makeup on a daily basis. Makeup that used to be reserved for film or television or theater is now a normal face of makeup. And so I can see where men are coming from when they are, complaining about filters and being catfished, because when you combine filters with makeup, it is a very real possibility that the person that you're going to meet is not going to look like anything they presented themselves as.
All I'm saying is this: how about you wipe that paint off your face and then see if you still got that same confidence when you talk to them. 99% of you women won't. See, now everybody lied to themselves, but not like women. See, I met this one female out. I don't know if she was drunk or not, but she kept saying, I'm a bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch. I'm like, all right, bet. Let's go out. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's have a good time. But leave that shit home. Leave the wig, leave the makeup, leave the eyelashes, leave the eyeliner, leave all that shit home. Let's go out. Let's have a good time. She wouldn't do it. But I thought you said you was a bad bitch. What you should say is, I got a badass costume on, and I would respect that more. Most women won't go to the grocery store. They won't go to the gym. They won't even walk to the mailbox without some makeup on. You must feel like you deficient if you feel like you can't go outside without a full costume on every time you go outside.
Right.
All I'm saying is this. How about you wipe that paint off your face and then see if you still got that same confidence when you talk to me?
You know what? Anyone who's going to be attracted to you and end up in a relationship with you is going to see the real you. Don't you want them to fall in love with your natural self?
To everyone that works in the medical field or anybody that has questioned the practices of the pharmaceutical industry, fasten your seatbelt. This one's gonna blow your mind. In ancient Greek religion, and probably the religion of those responsible for creating modern day medicines, this is known as the Greek goddess or witch Hecate, who is known for its practices of witchcraft, sorcery, necromancy, and the mixing of herbs and deadly plants. What really caught my attention was the choice of necklace. Isn't that the same logo that's on every prescription bottle that comes out of the pharmacy? Let's not forget the other symbolisms, especially that serpent, the 2 moons, and the pentagram on its forehead. I don't know about anybody else, but I always thought this to be a strange symbol to use for the pharmacy. This is known as the bowl of Hygeia, or also known as the Greek goddess Hygeia, who was the daughter of Asclepius. Check out my last video for who Asclepius was. Is it just me, or does this Baphomet here have a lot of similarities to that statue I just showed you guys, especially those 2 moons, the torch, and the pentagram on the forehead? What I'm about to share with you next is going to make your jaw drop. Stay tracking. This is the word pharmakia, and it's the Greek root word where we get pharmacy, pharmaceutical, and pharmacist from. Let's see what the definition of pharmakia is according to the Strong's Dictionary. It is medication, pharmacy, that is magic, sorcery, or witchcraft. It also derives from the Greek word pharmakios, which is a drug that is a spell-giving potion, a druggist, quote-unquote, a pharmacist, or poisoner, that is a magician or sorcerer. Are we waking up yet?
Mason infiltrates streaming.
That's a spell circle. This piece is a spell circle. That's magic. Oh, you engage in magic and witchcraft? How the f do you know that? Oh, shit. Oh, you industry people are... You know
too.
what that is.
You too.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but this guy's going to hell.
You too. Zerka knows way too much about all of that to not be part of it.
How the f do you know that? Well, everyone in your industry knows that. You have to expose this.
Look at Zerka acting like he don't know what's going on. He knows exactly what's going on, man. They done infiltrated everybody in the streaming community, everybody in the Hollywood community, music. Man, he trying to act dumb. He with them too. He a Mason. He know exactly what's going on, man. Jack, Neon, Sneeko, Zerka, Aiden. Every single one of them. They in that.
Everyone.
They're cold. You know exactly what they're doing. They making their money and they messing up everybody's minds. These kids.
Going after who? The children. Just like you can tell where someone is at their walk with Christ based on the language that they use. You can tell how much they're into their Bible based on the language that they use. You can tell who's a part of those particular circles based on the language that they use. A joke doesn't mean it's a lie.
You guys think it's a joke?
Nope.
Yeah, I fucked you in that crime. I did. Yeah, you know. As you can see, Aiden Ross here is an Illuminati.
We know.
You can see right here. I have this clip right here. He's 100% the Illuminati. He's a puppet. He's one of the Matrix. He 100% does gay rituals.
All that.
For money. You have to get fucked with Aiden Ross if you're his crew to get money.
He's one of them. Watch this.
That's it. Hey, Kai, I can't believe you actually did cocaine off her tits.
Yo, let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about when that Escalade, that all-black Escalade with the Illuminati came and captured your ass. Let's not talk about that. Hey, let's not talk about the real. Let's really talk about. Let's really talk about how you got that steak deal, bro. Come on, bro.
And this is how he got his steak deal right here. Read the messages. They offered me a bag. He said, we offered you $2 million. The next thing he says, I need, come on now. And these are private messages.
I need what? If you can't read that, it says DICK.
Messages. Stop saying it's a joke. It's not a joke. He really in this for real.
Yes. Listen, if he's that popular, there's a reason for it. None of these people become popular organically. I mean, look what just recently happened with Neon. When Twitch changed something in their algorithm to block bot views, his views went from like hundreds of thousands to like 25,000. So it proved that he was using bot views, which makes you wonder how long were the bot views being used and who's behind the bots, right? It doesn't have to be the creator. It could be whoever wants them to be pushed to the top, because people are going to follow someone that they think is already popular. All right, we have time for a couple more.
You know, the one thing about Flat Earth that does trip me out? Google images of satellites. They're just all...
There's no real pictures?
They're all
No,
graphic?
there's not one picture of a real satellite on Google. There's not one.
Yeah, dude. Not a single one is not. This is the one thing that tripped me out, I'm not gonna lie. They're all just like renders. I've never seen a satellite that was real. I'm just saying, I'm not a flat earther, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that is very strange now that you bring that up. Why would they want to sell us on Earth being round?
That's not the only thing they're selling you on. They're selling you on space as well, because you're thinking outer space and all those other planets and stuff
Are real?
like that. Yeah, huh?
You don't think they're real? You don't think sun's real?
No. Sun is real. The sun and the moon is real.
Okay.
But outer space is not.
Yeah, because we haven't seen. Then what is it? What are we doing?
It's water over the firmament. Is water.
Over the firmament, he's talking.
We're in the ocean right now.
We under the firmament, under the dome, and there's water over the firmament. It says it in the Bible.
Sure
Yeah, outer
does.
space is there's no such thing.
There's no such thing as outer space.
No, and that's the whole thing that got you tricked and why you think the other planets and stuff. The planets are wandering stars.
So you think all that, like them going to Mars stuff, is all?
How they going to the Mars? Why they don't put the same rover on the moon so we can watch the Earth spin right now? How they gonna go to Mars?
They're talking about building a society on Mars, right?
Yeah. Why they doing that? Why they ain't got the same thing on the moon right now though?
Yeah.
How they gonna go to Mars?
Like the whole thing is like we never went back to the moon, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Never went back to the moon, but somehow you're making it to Mars. What they really don't want you to know is the place that they're telling you the planets are is the third heaven, and that's where God dwells. Our last video for today.
I feel like in our society, love is always selfish because you want something from that other person. You want to be around that person. You want to be with that person because they make you happy.
Correct.
So like, what's the difference in like unconditional selfless love whenever love is so selfish?
It's the difference between friendship and really loving someone unconditionally. I need friends. I don't want to be lonely. And the Greek word for that kind of love is philia, friendship. But you're absolutely right. Friendship is usually based on I need a warm body to talk to me. I need someone who can fill my ears with words so we can have a conversation. So I got a lot of needs. Oh, you are willing to be my friend? Well, great. I'd love to be your friend because you meet my needs. partially. But I'm also going to hopefully meet some of your needs. Okay, so that's friendship, philia. Agape is different. Agape is, you're my enemy. You've cut me off at the knees. You've gossiped about me. You've slandered about me. But I'm going to choose to forgive you. I'm going to choose to be committed to your well-being. That is the quality of love that God has for you and for me. That's what the cross of Christ is all about. Where Christ sacrifices his life for his enemies. Now, I ain't going to sacrifice my life for my enemy. I'll tell you that right now. On my own. But as Christ changes me and fills me with his love, I pray, I don't know if I would do it, but I pray that I would be willing to sacrifice my life for my enemy. That's a radically, totally different love than simple friendship. Now, do I need friendships? Yes, I do. But I also need God's agape love, his unconditional love for me. Because I've blown it. I've messed up a lot. And I need his love.
And that is just so true, because the love that we are constantly seeking for in other people, you're only ever going to find from the Lord Jesus Christ. And until you're willing to seek that love out and stop looking towards other people to fill the place that Jesus is supposed to be filling, you're never going to feel the peace that you could feel. And you're not going to have a successful relationship with another person, because you are requiring them to fill a hole that they are not designed to fill. I love you guys, and I thank you for coming back to hang out with me again. I enjoy making these videos for you and talking to you guys in the comments, and I really think that we are growing an amazing community over here. We are growing slowly but surely, and the people who are joining our family are amazing. Have a wonderful day, stay prayed up, and stay highly motivated.